You're listening to No Retreat with Cheryl Ann and Scott Douglas. Today, our guest will be Ann Adams, founder, president, and inventor of Bracesox, the Original, Inc. Welcome to the program, Ann.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I love this idea. I'm Ann Adams. I'm a proud American who loves my country. I'm the inventor and founder of the Bracesox, which is an orthopedic undersleeve that works with prescriptive or non-prescriptive knee braces to keep them from chafing and irritating your skin. It's American made. We've been sourcing materials and manufacturing entirely in the United States for over 35 years. I invented the Bracesox back in college after stepping in a gopher hole, playing field hockey during practice, and it was just 10 days before Olympic developmental camp when that happened. And I mentioned that because just to illustrate how devastated I was at 18 years of age to miss what I had been training for years at that point. So what I didn't realize is that gopher hole was devastating at the time, but it ended up guiding my entire life. I've been doing this for over 35 years. So the brace that they gave me caused terrible skin irritation, and this was in 1979. I'm old. And it was uncomfortable, and I wasn't going to feel like I could complete my field hockey scholarship wearing that brace. So that's what inspired me to develop the Bracesox. I hate to say invent because it's just so simple. It's a sleeve, basically the bottom part of a sport tight that you put on your leg before you put on a brace to keep it from chafing your skin. I could tell you all about how I ended up doing that at some other point in time, but it's been an incredibly interesting journey. I knew nothing about business really at all. I was a teacher, but all I did know is that at that point in time, I was expecting my first child, and I was a teacher, and I thought, I do not want to put my kid in daycare and spend all day long with other people's kids. I've had this idea for a really long time. So I went to the fabric store. I bought some material. I made some samples on my kitchen table, and I took them to my orthopedic sports medicine doctor and asked if I could test market through his office. And he said, sure, here, call these 3 brace companies. And that was going on 36 years ago.
Oh, I love it. I love something that most of us, the ideas that we come up with, whether we turn them into a product or a service or whatever, or even just how we live our lives, most of them come from some critical moment that either is very happy or very challenging. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like yours resulted from something that was really disappointing and challenging to you at the time.
Yeah, and I was fortunate to have many people that took me under their wing to help me with business, and help me with my idea. And I also had a lot of people that stole my idea, but I had just a lot of wonderful business people that gave me really good advice and, introduced me to their network, which was an amazing thing. And really, I just at some point took a huge leap of faith, and I went, okay, God, I think this is the direction that you're sending me. So just don't forget to help me along the way.
And he never does he? So it's an incredible story of just using that experience, right, to get something that matters to other people. right, and put it out into the business place. But I think you had mentioned to me that one of your, you know, key challenges, right, as a business is how am I going to operate and still make money, right, in this post Amazon world is what I like to call it.
Right. Yeah, and being an American manufacturer, the margins are extremely thin anyways. You pretty much just have to go with volume, you know. Um, so historically our business thrived through 1099 independent medical device distributors and my wholesale accounts that I had with knee brace companies, knee brace manufacturers. And there's still, at one point in time, I supplied every single brace manufacturer in the United States, but then came China. So, but there is still six American brace manufacturers that purchase my product wholesale. Um, and so our business was built on one-on-one sales, and that virtually disappeared after COVID. And so and we had our website since 1997, but I needed to see if I could get a little more exposure because Amazon's a lot of exposure. So when we started with Amazon, the sales were amazing because I was the only product on Amazon like mine, an undersleeve. But then it just took the Chinese very shortly to catch up, knock it off, and undercut my price. And a couple things are kind of disastrous about Amazon. One is, just all the undercutting of pricing. And you can't really explain the differences in your product on Amazon. You're not allowed to compare it to the other products. You just have to bullet point. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the way Amazon's organized. So you can't really talk about the nuances. And mine is very nuanced. I mean, it is just seriously the bottom part of a sport type, but it's a lot longer than the braces that you get, the prescriptive braces. And the reason is so that you can you pull it on your leg, put on the brace, then you pull the material up and over the top of your brace, and that keeps the inside of your unbraced leg from being chafed, which, if you're just going to steal someone's idea, you have no idea. Or you just look at that much material and go, oh, wow, I can save a lot of money by just making it shorter. But what happens then is that it just pistons the brace down your leg because there's no material folded over the top to keep everything in place. So that's the kind of thing that you can't get across on Amazon. People just go, oh, I'll just get the cheapest one. Why is this person so expensive? But the other thing about Amazon that was disastrous for our company is, well, a lot of it was, but they pretty much dictate to you how you're going to run your business and where your money's going to go. So, like, for example, we sell in the United States and Canada, but we get charged for the Brazilian space and the Mexico space. So every month we have to pay a fee to be listed in Brazil and Mexico, even though we don't sell there. And so that's just a way for them to get another $35 a month out of us, right? That we get nothing back for. And every business that starts in the United States has to pay for those other locations as well on Amazon if they sell on Amazon. But that's just like kind of minor. But
well, I don't know, and I don't know if that's minor because it seems to me, and I'm in the industrial manufacturing space for my full-time job. It
okay.
seems to me that the nickel and diming,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
people overlook a one. Okay, so you pay $35 a month. Okay, well, to a small business owner, $420 a year is not nickel and diming.
Right. Right.
Okay? If I'm selling a product for $100, okay, I, that means I had to give away for free four of
Mm-hmm.
those, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
So it's not to the small business person, that is not nickel and diming. It sounds like it, right? When you put it, oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
just $35 a month.
It's a write-off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
well, and people who are not in business say things like it's a write-off. They don't understand. You don't get the $35 back. You
Yeah.
get 2% of that $35 back maybe off of your taxes or
Right.
whatever. I mean, it's literally 70 cents that you would get
Mm-hmm.
off of your taxes or something. It's nothing.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
It's not a $35 dollar for dollar write-off on what I have to pay
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
my
You're right.
pocket.
Yeah. And another thing about Amazon, so like you have to say that the lowest price for your product can be found on Amazon only. Like my website, my own website, I can't sell cheaper than I do on Amazon. So like I can't have a sale on my website without going to Amazon, jumping through the hoops, changing the price, waiting 24 hours for it to hit, right? Without being dinged by Amazon. If I just reduced my price on my website and didn't jump through those hoops on Amazon fast enough, then they would throttle my Amazon account until I did it. So, that's just not being able to make decisions for your own business, right? But the one thing I really want Americans to understand that purchase things on Amazon
Okay.
is that it's not just because you see it on Amazon, which is a gigantic business, doesn't mean the product is a gigantic company selling that product. It's a mom and pop store. It could be a mom and pop store, and you can look and you can read about the companies that list. But for example, the attitude that people have on Amazon is like with my products, and this would be probably with every product that has a sizing component to it. So we have a sizing chart that we have used for 35 years. It's worked just fine. Um, we have that on Amazon. People don't look at it. People go, I'm either small or medium. I'll just order one of each and I'll return the one that doesn't fit. Well, so they've tried them both on. They've dropped them on the floor. They return one that doesn't fit. The one that the return's got cat hair on it. I can't resell it. It's an intimate product. I can't resell it. And Amazon refuses to categorize it as an intimate product, so it can't be returned. And we've gone round and round with them, and they won't do it. So what's happening? So I sell for $18.95. People buy two. They return one. I pay for the return shipping to me. I have to throw that away. And so basically, out of $18.95, I make about $3 if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. And Amazon has a thing where they'll just, instead of returning products to you, they'll destroy them. So we thought, well, we'll save money on return shipping and we'll let them do that. Well, what Amazon does is sell your products that have been returned in bulk to, these auctions, and people buy all sorts of products at once, that have been returned on Amazon, and then they create their own store with all sorts of different products.
Yes, I've seen those.
And so what they're doing, then someone buys a Bracesox on that store that has been tried on, worn, got cat hair on it, and then my trademark name suffers.
So it's not
what
worth it for you to put destroy on it because it won't.
No, we didn't know that at the beginning, and we were
Right.
trying to figure out, like, why are we getting these terrible reviews? Like, we I mean, we had been in business for 30 years by the time we got, or 29, I think, 30, something like that, by the time we went on Amazon, and we had nothing but great reviews. And we were just perplexed by what was going on. And then we figured out it was because they weren't destroying them, they were reselling them. So Amazon was making money reselling my product, but I wasn't. And so, and in addition to the way that Amazon, you know, treats, so I have another story I could tell about Jeff Bezos, which might be interesting. But the way they treat the customer, you as the customer that buys on Amazon is all they care about. They make their money from me, the business person, and they don't care one bit about the business people. And so, it's hard for people to understand when Amazon is such a good customer service business, how devastating their practices are to small companies. And so I would just, try to caution people, think about it when you buy something. Think about it. Can you just spend an extra minute to look at the sizing chart and order the one that you know will probably fit, rather than ordering two and returning one, and then that has to get destroyed, and and it's devastating. And so actually, last week I stopped selling on Amazon. I finally just had enough. So,
Well, I get that, because I think people will definitely learn from this segment that, because I would not have ever thought that you were being charged if I returned something. Okay. I
mm-hmm.
would have, the shipping part, right? Like, I never would have
Yeah.
thought of that. So let's take whether it's an intimate product or not out of the
Mm-hmm.
mix. If I buy, I don't know, if I buy a microwave and I return it or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the person it's being returned to has to pay the return shipping. I don't know that, because most of the people, maybe, that shop on Amazon are Prime members like myself who don't pay shipping, and so I don't even
Mm-hmm.
think about shipping. I pay once
Mm-hmm.
a year for a fee, right? And
Right.
then whatever I buy, it just shows up, right? I pay the price that I agreed to online, and I'm done.
Well,
And you're right. It's
let me
very
clarify. It's when the business owner has it returned to them
right,
rather
right,
than returned
to
to Amazon.
Amazon.
So, yeah,
But you had to
and
do that because of the reputational risk, right?
right,
And
right.
so who knows how many other people have had to make that choice, right? Because we don't know.
Well, and also the thing is, so um, when they return it, they have to say a reason, and so in order for them not to have to pay if they don't have Prime for return shipping, if they say it's defective, then they get free shipping. So we have all of these defective claims for defective product. When I get it back, the product is fine, other than the cat hair. But they say it's defective, so they can get free shipping.
Oh,
So
that's fraud. That's
right,
consumer fraud, not fraud on the
right,
consumer. It's the consumer having the fraud.
right, and we
And then you just
um,
have to eat it. And then you get
right,
dinged because you look like you're making defective product, right?
right, and I'll tell you, and we went from fewer than 5 legitimate returns because of sewing or stitching in the entire time we had been in business before we went to Amazon. And then we went to 10 to 20 per week that we returned, and they said it was defective. So it's just not a good. I have one product, so that is what makes it so difficult. Really, I mean, part of it is difficult, you know, um, but companies that have a variety of products wouldn't have maybe as much trouble as I do. But It's the sizing and the returning and this the laziness on the Amazon customer that that has devastated our business. So,
I get it. I'm really, really happy you agreed to do this segment with me because half of this stuff I would never know. And I think it's important for people to understand what it costs small business owners, to do
mhm.
business today, whether it's on Amazon or any other, thing. Whatever the concerns are, there's all kinds of other concerns with how you're taxed and all that stuff into oblivion. But
Right.
but it's important, I think, for fellow Americans to understand. Okay, we want people in America. We want people in America to make product and sell it to us. That's what we want. We don't
Yeah.
want to import a lot of cheap stuff. We want
No, and
our American business people to thrive.
right, and right now people are like, "Oh, the tariffs are gonna kill us." Well, gosh, maybe you should have thought of that before you just chose the cheap Chinese product over the little bit more expensive American product. Like at this point in time, you need to buy the American product going forward. You just need to. And you should have been already, but if you haven't been, just come on. Another dollar, another $3, that's going to break you. Well, it will break in a small business for sure. If and so, just for American consumers to choose American is vitally important right now.
It is. Can you give me real briefly as we wrap this session up, let us know where they can buy your product and learn more about it and your handle on X or just any contact information that you'd like to give because I want everybody to have an opportunity to look at your product and find out more about you.
Okay, so the website is bracesox.com. That's BRACESOX.com. And there's an About Us page there, which kind of gives you a little nutshell of how the company came about. You can also, I thought this was interesting when I was thinking about chatting with you. I just asked Grok, what is a bracesock and who invented it? It gives a really nice overview. So
Oh,
you can
Grok
also,
knows about you. So there
yeah.
you go. Did you ask Grok to put you on Grokopedia?
I no, I didn't do
That's what
that
you
yet.
should do. You should
Oh
say,
yeah.
"Am I, do I have a page, Grok, on Grokopedia?"
Well, also, what's interesting, I did spend a little time on Grok a little while ago, not just recently, but I asked who coined the term undersleeve, and he credited me, which I did. There was no such thing called an undersleeve prior to me developing the brace sock. And then my trying to market it to brace companies, I'm like, okay, I'll call it an undersleeve because it's going to go under and it's like a sock. And then, you know, so I thought that was pretty impressive without any prompting at all that he did that. The only prior to that, it was some sort of Elizabethan era undergarment was called an undersleeve, but not
Okay.
so. Yeah, and then we do have a X handle, Bracesox X handle, but we absolutely don't do anything with it currently. I should probably change that. And then my my X handle is smarter than MSM.
As aren't we all? It does not.
We
That's a
are.
really low bar you have set for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you could wake up every day, Anne, and just
Yeah.
exist for like 24 hours, and you have proven
Yeah.
that you've proven this.
That's true.
And you're not that old. You may be like 3 years, maybe 4 years older than I am. I don't know. I'm 60. I was just
I'm 65 almost.
okay. So see, we are in the prime of our
Yeah.
lives.
Well, and I've worn bracing since I was 19, but just recently, about 3 years ago, I had my total knee done, so I don't wear bracing anymore. But I wore my product, so I knew
that it worked. Yes. And as I mentioned to you when we were off air, when we were getting ready for this podcast, my husband is disabled and wears a brace all day, every day. And so we will now have to find out all about Bracesox. We are going to find out all about you guys. So this has been wonderful. I am so happy that you ended up being my very first business bite on our podcast. So this has worked out really well.
Thanks for letting me participate.
Oh, you'll have a great day, okay? Thanks.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to No Retreat. Guest Ann Adams. And as always, everyone, be blessed and be a blessing. Thank you.